What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content. And a shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Once again, y'all, if you want to support the channel, right there, hit that QR code and get started. It's super easy. Pick your favorite players. They go higher or lower on a bunch of stats. Very fun. It makes the game a little bit more enjoyable to watch. I do it myself. Today, I was yelling at my TV because of my underdog picks. So if you want to get started, again, hit that QR code. And once again, big shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So the Dolphins are continuing their rebuild of the team, and everything we've done up till now has been outside of what our current administration has been, right? New GM, new head coach. We know Anthony Weaver is going to be out. And then we came to the offensive coordinator's conversation. Now, I said on the last show, there were a couple that I was just adamant I'm not here for, all right? Matt Nagy was at the top of that list. Get out of here with that nonsense. I mean, I said Cliff Kingsbury because I just didn't think he fit the culture of the team. But I do think Cliff Kingsbury is very good at his job. So the Dolphins did their search. We had a couple interviews, requested a couple others, and finally decided Bobby Slowick would just get promoted from senior game pass coordinator to OC. This makes a lot of sense to me for a lot of reasons. One, Bobby has done the job already. Ta-da. Sometimes you promote guys who haven't done a job and you assume they'll do the job well. Bobby Slowick is at least partially responsible for C.J. Stroud's rookie year, which is one of the best we've ever seen. They went from the second pick in the draft to the playoffs. C.J. was top 10 in MVP voting. Their offense was top 12. I mean, it really was a pretty remarkable thing. Now, things did turn sideways, and then somehow he became the scapegoat for everything. I don't know how that happened. There may be some internal Houston tea that we don't know about, but typically you don't go from 1 year coordinator, man, this guy's the bee's knees, second year, not good, okay, get out. Something happened there. There was some relationship that wasn't cultivated, most likely, and he kind of fell away. So then he ended up here with us as a pass game coordinator, which again, I don't know the exact scope of what that job looks like. Is that just helping design plays? Are you, calling scout team? I don't know how all that stuff works. I know he helps work with the offense this year with Frank Smith. And the offense this year was not great, but it wasn't not great because the plays weren't schemed up properly. It wasn't great because guys weren't blocking and or throwing the ball in time. I assume Miami is going to make a move at quarterback or really work to develop Quinn Ewers this year. And that's why I think the Bobby Slowick hiring or promotion makes sense, because he's worked with the high court level quarterback as a rookie and got really good production out of him. People forget C.J. Stroud, his rookie year, held onto the ball, meaning didn't turn the ball over, not time to pass. Scored a lot, was good in clutch moments. They won a playoff game. If we have any hope for Quinn Ewers or any other quarterback we bring in that's a young quarterback, I think having someone who's gone through that is a pretty good situation. And Houston's offensive line was never good with C.J. Stroud, so the fact that they got that level of production with a offensive line, which got worse their second year than the first year, I think that's a good formula for us, because we know the offensive line for Miami is not great. We keep trying to do stuff about it. We keep drafting and acquiring people. They haven't quite panned out. So Bobby's been here before, and I don't believe that Quinn Ewers is as talented as C.J. Stroud is. I don't know what quarterback we're bringing in. We'll talk about that later on. But I do think he's been there before, young quarterback, guiding him, protect the ball, make plays. I think this is a good hire. Shout out to Bobby. We appreciate you doing that. I know Philadelphia was looking at him to be their OC, and I was like, I don't want to lose him. And now we don't have to. So I just finished watching the playoff matchups, right? And I was stuck watching the Patriots, like most of y'all, disgusted. I don't want to see this. And I was struck by their post-Tom Brady rebuild. And then I started thinking about other teams that have been on rebuilds and different timelines and what Miami could hope to expect in this offseason. So if you don't remember, the Patriots let Tom Brady go, I believe it was 2019, maybe 2019. And then they went through the Mac Jones era. Now, Mac Jones, his rookie year, made the playoffs. So it seemed like, right from Tom Brady, right to the Mac Jones era. Then we realized Mac Jones, not particularly good. Then Cam Newton was involved in there. Cam's arm was shot, so he wasn't Cam. Then they had a second rebuild. And the second rebuild was drafting Drake May, number 3. They didn't move up, so they were the third worst team in the league. Drafted Drake May. Last year happened. Still weren't a great team. Ended up with the 5th or 6th pick to get Will Campbell. From there, they're in the Super Bowl. So it went from, hey, we're a top 3 team. Let's get this young quarterback who, again, he went to North Carolina, but he never won anything significant in North Carolina. He wasn't some perennial winner. He wasn't some can't miss talent. He was a good quarterback who had good intangibles. And he thought, well, he could be a better version of what Mitch Trubisky was at North Carolina. That's how he was scouted. And now 2 years later, they're in the Super Bowl, and Drake May is either going to win the MVP or finish second. It's a pretty good timeline. If you remember back with San Francisco, rebuilt their team. They were a 3-win team. They're like a 7-win team, and then they were in the Super Bowl. Like, just bang, bang, bang. Look at the Bengals. Worst team in the league. Number 1 pick, draft Joe Burrow. He gets hurt his first year. Second year, in the Super Bowl. We've seen it, right? There's a couple other teams. I'm just like, dude, this is all top of the dome now. I'm just like remembering teams like, even back with like the Andrew Luck days, right? The Colts were the worst team in the league. Number 1 pick. That year, 11 wins in the playoffs. Jacksonville Jaguars, last year, had the number 5 pick, moved up to number 2, or number 2 moved back to 5. One of those. Oh, they were 5 and moved up to 2. So they had the 5th worst team in the league. This year, one of the better teams, won their division, barely lost to Buffalo. I think when teams hear about rebuilds, like as fans, oh, we got to rebuild, you start thinking oh man, Cleveland Brown kind of thing. But remember, the Cleveland Browns went from 0-16, got Baker Mayfield, won 7 games, and then made the playoffs and won a playoff game. And then they became the Cleveland Browns. They got worse again. But my point is, even the Browns in their awful history had a relatively quick turnaround. It does not need to take more than 2 or 3 years to go from where you are to top of the heap. Look at the Chicago Bears, right? They got Caleb, and Caleb was okay his rookie year. They won 7 games, went from like 3 or 4 wins to 7 wins. This year, number 2 seed. Should have beaten the Rams. It happens quickly. And you don't have to go out and spend all the money in the world and be Philadelphia and just have monopoly money all over the place. I think for Miami to get to where we want to get to, there's going to be a need to tear it down and rebuild it. I don't think we can retool. I think there's a lot of foundational things wrong with the team. We got to just gut it. Pick your top 20, 25 players who we're going forward with. Pay the right ones. The other ones who are under contract, let them rock. And then we just start rebuilding this team through the draft, through free agency. Big ticket guys, that means Tua's probably gone. Obviously, Tyreek's most likely gone. Sure. Austin Jackson might be out, probably. Like those big ticket people who aren't really contributing to the culture, out of here. New people coming in. Yeah, it may be a rough year. We might have a year next year we win 4 or 5 games. There's a time this year we thought we might win 3 to 4 games. I remember making a post, if Miami can get the 7 wins, and this guy on social media was like, you think you can win 7 wins with this team? I was like, yeah. You could have won more than that had we done some things better, but it doesn't take a long time to turn it around if you have the right people in place, the right direction, and again, ideally the right quarterback, but even a quarterback like Mac Jones got the Patriots from bad to the playoffs. And Mac Jones was solid his rookie year. Not game-changing, not amazing. Now, he didn't sustain it. You want a quarterback that can sustain it. Drake May seems a little bit more sustainable, so is Caleb. But I expect a team like the Giants next year. The Giants won, 4, maybe 5 games this year? I think it was 4. If the Giants won 8 or 9 next year, or even snuck in the playoffs, would you really be surprised? You would be like, all right, they feel like they got the quarterback. They get Scottaboo back. They get Malik back. They got their coach. Their defense is already pretty solid. Add a couple more pieces. All of a sudden, the Giants are a playoff team. Like, you can see how it happens. And I think for Miami to get there, we got to have some hard conversations about, hey, we're not tanking for Tua, but we're tanking for the future. And we got some cap constraints, and we're going to it's going to suck for a little bit. And for a little bit, I mean, quite literally like a little bit. It could be one really season, and then the next year, we get back in the game and we start really competing for real, because the way we're going now, we're not really in position to do anything. And there's so many teams that have young quarterbacks that are already good and are cheap. Like Drake May is cheap for another 2 years plus a player option. So that's basically 3 years of paying Drake May $30 million or under. Bo Nix, same situation. Bo Nix, if he played today, Broncos likely win. I feel like there's a big drop off. Bo Nix is cheap. It's just we can't just move forward as if we're that close to these teams. I think we got to start over, gut it, rebuild it quickly, and then in a year or two, we can be in the Super Bowl like Seattle or the Patriots. Football players are here, and Underdog's the best place to get on all the action. Playing Underdog is easy. Just pick if your favorite players will go higher or lower on various stats, including rushing yards, receiving yards, rushing touchdowns, etc. Get the picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. Now, I just had a rough week. I just went 1-4 in my picks. Be better than me, all right? So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code FOOTBALLFAN to score $75 in bonus entries once you make your first $5 play. That's promo code FOOTBALLFAN. Underdog, make picks, win money.
18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/playing at terms DFS for details. Often not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 line at 1-878 or text from 467-369.
One of the bigger takeaways I got from hearing Sully talk and hearing Coach Hafley talk is their insistence on we're going to keep drafting quarterbacks. It's rare that you hear GMs talk like that. They always say we have to find the right quarterback, right? We got to cultivate the right guy, get the leader of our team. Sully said, we drafting quarterbacks every year and we'll figure it out in the back end. If that means that we got 2 or 3 really good quarterbacks, then bet we got bargaining chips. It's a very interesting way to approach the game. That basically told me, though, Quinn Ewers, not safe. We're drafting more people. So I started wondering, Miami is going to draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft, just based on what the GM said. I'm listening to what he said. When are we going to do it, and who should we target? That's the question. I do not believe this is going to be a first or second round situation because quarterback is not one of our 2 biggest needs. I think both trenches for sure and the secondary are much, much bigger needs. So I don't anticipate any quarterback in the first 2 rounds. So all this, that's why I dismissed the Ty Simpson talk. Get out of here. If we draft Ty Simpson in the first round, I'm taking my hat off and renouncing my fandom, all right? We're not doing that. We have 3 third-round picks, though. So it does seem like in the middle of the draft, if there's value there, they could draft someone. So what quarterbacks could be available that could provide some level of upside? Someone who has maybe the tools to be good, but maybe he's off an injury or is like a little bit raw. This is where some of those D2 quarterbacks kind of come in. Jordan Love was a good example of someone who, hey, you know, his competition level wasn't great in college, but we see a lot of intangibles in his game. Now, it basically took 4 years of developing for him to be good, but look what Green Bay got in return. And guess where Sully came from? You guessed it. I don't think it's an accident that that's kind of his approach. So what the first quarterback I thought of, and we'll do these periodically, right? But the first one I thought of as a third-ish round pick with higher upside than most is someone like Drew Aller at Penn State. So Drew Aller got hurt very early in the year for Penn State, which probably expedited James Franklin being fired because once he left, that team just completely catered and just it became a terrible team. But Drew Aller is prototypical in his size. He's 6'5", almost 240. I mean, this is Big Ben-like size. Big arm, sneakily athletic, but for sure not fast. Like his 40 time, according to what I read, was a 4.9, but I've seen Drew Aller play. He seems faster than a 4.9. Maybe like, I don't know, 4.8. He's not fast, but he can move a little bit. He is, though, big dude, big arm, played in the big-time conference, coached up pretty well. Was he a big winner? No. He was not good in big games. And that was his bugaboo. And honestly, that was James Franklin's bugaboo. He just couldn't win the big games. So if you're like, I don't like this kid, he doesn't win in college, I can't argue with you. He didn't really show that he can do that. What he did show was he has the frame and he has the arm and probably the intellect. I mean, he stayed in college when he could have gone out last year, right? He stayed in, and I think he's shown that there's something to build on from there. And I think that's the kind of person you want to target in the third round because, one, he's recovering from an injury. So he shouldn't really be a competition until maybe the summertime because he got hurt, I believe, in October. So, you know, at best, he won't be ready until right at the beginning of the season. If not, maybe even a second year from now situation where they don't want to bring him back too early. But we believe if healthy and can compete for the job, he could be someone that could surprise you. I think when we got Quinn Ewers, it was more like could have been a 5th or 6th round pick, but he fell to us, so we're going to get him. That's kind of what that was. So there was some value in picking him. But remember, Quinn was a top-level recruit. Drew Aller, another top-level recruit type guy. All the physical tools are there. He gets a little dicey with pressure. All right. If you come after him, he can give it up. But he typically in his career was really good with ball security, and he's good at deeper down the field throws. So if that's where Miami wants to go play-wise, then I think he's somebody that we could target in those middle rounds where we hit the real big areas first. O-line, D-line, secondary. Hit those off rip. Maybe even our first 3 picks. So our second, third round pick could be someone like Drew Aller. Do I think he's, the greatest thing since sliced cheese? I don't. But I do think he has some Tyler Shutt like in his game. Where when Tyler got drafted, we were like, who is this guy? Well, he's a little older and he's been really hurt and, but if he can be healthy, got an electric arm and seems like a smart kid and really is, can he stay on the field? Now, Drew Aller is currently hurt, so that kind of hurts his case about staying on the field. But if you ask Saints fans, they will tell you, we feel pretty all right about Tyler. Like, Tyler seems like he has the intangibles maybe to be their guy, and they got him in the 2nd round. But he didn't really prove in college he could be some guy that you can really build your team around for real because he never really stayed healthy long enough to show that. I think Drew has shown enough that he's worthy of a flyer pick, which I think is a, middle to late 3rd round pick for us. Because the thing, later in the draft, he's going to be gone already. Somebody's going to take a chance on him. This is someone I will want to target. We will see. There may be some other people who are D2 schools that might emerge. There may be some guys who are kind of unpolished the way Jalen Milroe was this past year from Alabama that you think super not polished, but with 1 or 2 years of scuffing out, could be something there. We will see. But I do think we're drafting a quarterback. I don't think it's going to be in the 6th or 7th round. I do think it will be at a position where they can actually push Quinn Ewers a little bit this upcoming year. And we will continue to, discern who that person could be. But as always, y'all, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes and the subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.